In five, four, three, two, one. We're live.
Good morning, Owasso. This is the Twins with Owasso Live, and this is the Morning Loop. Sorry, we're running a little bit late today. We were running an update on the software on the computer, and we started about 7:30, but it just got done just now, so we pulled everything up so we can get the show up and running. So apologies for being a little late, but the temperature outside is currently 52 degrees. It's going to be very windy today with a high of 69. So it's going to be windy and a little bit cool because of that wind. So light jacket weather or at least long t-shirt weather for sure. So with that being said, uh, traffic's going into Tulsa is really pretty great, to be honest with you. So there's no traffic at all.
Well, there was just a few minutes ago.
Yeah, but I mean, it cleared up awful quick. So if you're commuting into Tulsa just now, congratulations. There's no issues for you. So enjoy your trip in. Now, upcoming local news, nothing. You know, we already went over everything that happened through the Chamber of Commerce, but the other thing that's going on is the Wheels and Thrills. Reels and Thrills? No, not that was last week.
No, yeah, that was last week. The dog reading.
That's
event.
right, Jazzy. Yeah, reading with Jazzy at the Needful Things.
And that's all there is this week that's left on the calendar.
Yeah, so if your kids aren't really exposed to dogs very much and they like reading, go over there and to Needful Things and read with Jazzy the dog. She's a big old Great Pyrenees, which Great Pyrenees are those big white fluffy, like they're like livestock guarding dogs.
Yes.
Like they have really wonderful temperaments and they're good with every. I mean, not just breed of animal, but breed of dogs are good with people.
Mm-hmm.
So Great Pyrenees. That's a dog that I wouldn't be. That I personally would think would be a fun dog to actually own and have. They're just big old floofy fur balls.
Yep.
So with that being said, in more national news.
Well, hang on. We do have one thing. The OKC Thunder we didn't talk about.
Oh, yeah?
They played against the Spurs last night and absolutely dominated them.
Let's go.
Yeah, so we are still ranked third. However, I'm not sure exactly how because the Timberwolves lost last night, so we're officially tied with the Timberwolves. The Nuggets are the team that's ahead of us by one win. And we are tied with the Timberwolves, and we have a win streak of 3. They have a loss of 1 now. So we are tied
they're
for
still
second.
ranked ahead. Do they have like an extra game played or something?
Nope,
or
not at all. We're tied up.
That's a weird ranking system.
Yeah, but their loss, they have a 7-3 record, whereas we have a 6-4. So I think that's the conference record. I think it's out of teams that don't matter. They probably lost to a team that doesn't matter.
Okay, that makes more sense then.
But we're tied up there, really, even though we're still ranked third. So if we can come out with another W.
Can surpass them.
Exactly. Let me see who our next game is against. Looks like we'll be playing the Bucks, which from what I hear they've been doing pretty good. So we might be in trouble.
Yeah, fingers crossed for OKC playing the Bucks.
That's the last 2 games that I'm showing here on the season is the Bucks and the Mavericks.
For the season? So this will be out of conference play after that?
Well, probably start working on that's the only games that are on the standings.
Oh, okay.
So there could be more, but I'm pretty sure that this is probably about done for the season.
Yeah, so they're wrapping up. Okay, cool. So let's go Thunder. Let's keep up the win streak.
Absolutely. That's all we got. So now we can move on to
national news. Okay, so yesterday in the afternoon, I just got on and pulled up the computer home screen. I know I was using for work purposes through what we do. We have to use like Edge or Internet Explorer, which is crap technology compared to like Google Chrome or Opera and better web browsers essentially. But using Edge, and I pull up Edge, and in Edge it pulls up and it says mass shooting in Philadelphia. So I was like, oh, another mass shooting. What's going on? So I go into it, and all the coverage is live, and there's not a lot being said, not a lot going on in the coverage. So I just go, well, I'm sure I'll hear more about this tomorrow. So I start Google searching. I'm like, Philadelphia mass shooting. Nothing comes up. I pull up a video today on YouTube. I'm looking through YouTube, and I go, so we can talk about what this mass shooting was all about, because I figured we'd be talking about gun control and stuff. But no. I literally type up Philadelphia mass shooting, and then it pulls up a bus shooting from like a month ago. And I'm like, no, mass shooting yesterday. And I just go Philadelphia mass or shooting, yesterday, and it finally pulls up, and it's I'm watching the footage, and I just kind of laugh to myself because it's sad that this happened. Trust me, it's sad. But I guess yesterday was Ramadan, and that's a an Islamic holiday, and I don't know what Ramadan has to do with it. I don't know if maybe the kids who were involved in this shooting, I say kids, a lot of them were young adults. I don't know if they were Muslim by nature or, if they were just happened to be passing by and just saw a big event happening, but it seems to be more gang related. So I kind of laughed to myself. We were talking earlier. I guess Auntie Ann Coulter is right. If you don't know who Ann Coulter is, she's a conservative commentator, and like back in 2015, she said she was on Bill Maher's show, and she said that Bill Maher's like, who's going to win the presidential nominee for the Republican Party and who's going to win the presidency? And she was like, Donald Trump. And literally everyone in Bill Maher's show laughed at her. Like the audience laughed at her, the panelists laughed at her, Bill Maher laughed at her, and she came back a couple months later when Donald Trump was president, and they all had to. They didn't apologize. It was a reluctant apology, but they go, you were right. And then she was on Bill Maher's show not too long ago, and they were talking about another mass shooting event that happened. What was that? What was the one that she was referencing? Oh, it was the football, the Super Bowl shooting. The Kansas City Chiefs were celebrating their W in the Super Bowl, and a shooting took place over there. And she said, well, we know something for certain about the identity of the shooters. And, Bill Maher's like, what are you talking about? And she was like, well, we know that the shooters aren't white. And everybody started laughing at her. They go, what are you talking about? They're not white. She goes, if they were white, we would know. Because the media always jumps on white shooters. Like they go, this is indicative of racism. This is indicative of a huge cultural problem and hate and racism in white people and in the white community. And she was like, that, so we know he's not white. And everyone laughed at her again on the show. Like, and she goes, they're like, you're omnipotent. You have special superpowers where you can see the future. And then again, of course, she turned out to be right. Because that is true. We all know, if you follow the news, if a shooter is white, they call it out immediately. Like that kid that shot up that black church. Like he was a minor, underage. They shouldn't have put that information out there because he's a minor.
Yep.
But they put it out there anyway. Kyle Rittenhouse
was a minor.
Was minor, underage. They didn't put that information out. But whenever it turns out that the shooters do not fit the bill for the race that they want to demonize, they don't talk about it. It gets out of the news. Again, get on YouTube and type in mass shooting Philadelphia and see what pops up. The first thing that popped up was like bus station. I was like, oh, okay, so the shooting happened at a bus station. I was like, cool. So I literally type it. I click on the first top hit, and it goes, video is from a month ago. And I go, that's not right. So this is...
And just for the record, while I was trying to pull up images and stuff, the same thing was happening.
So
exact same thing was happening.
In fact, Chad, just do it. Pull the screen over and type in YouTube
mass shooting Philadelphia suspects, and then it pulls up stuff. I did suspects, and it pulls up stuff from months ago.
This shooting took place yesterday. This is proof that the media doesn't care about mass shootings. They only care about it when it fits the narrative. So I just don't understand. So this was a gang violence shooting is what this turns out to be. So the kids could have been, they're either African American or Muslim. And when I say Muslim, that means they're of Middle Eastern descent, or they're in a gang in a black community in Philadelphia. So those are the two options. Those are what they are. I guess you could say it could be a Yakuza Asian gang, but come on. So That's what we're talking about here. So they don't want to, and I watched the sheriff. So I watched the live footage from yesterday, and again, there's nothing new put out. It's all the live. Oh, mass shooting, Philadelphia,
Yeah.
and now it's all out of the news. There's nothing about it. But I watched the sheriff give the sheriff or the chief of police in Philadelphia give a statement, and it was painful to watch this man jump through hoops to do his best not to give. He gave descriptions of everything. He gave descriptions of what his officers did. He gave descriptions of the shooters' ages. But you know what was absent or not present from any of his descriptions?
Their race.
Their race and description of what they look like. He goes, he gave us their age, and he gave us their heights, but what was notably absent was description of what their race was. Said, I do not think that luxury would have been given.
Didn't he say that there was 5 male suspects and 3 female
Yes.
suspects?
Yes, there was I was shocked at the number of female suspects that were there.
Like 17 to like 25 was the age ranges that I was seeing as well.
Yeah. So I don't know what's going on over there. But again, this happened at a Ramadan celebration in near an Islamic church in Philadelphia. And again, it was just painful to watch the sheriff give these, give the descriptions that matter. Give us their age, their height, their weight, and a description. And when we say description, you know what we mean. It's like, what color were they? Don't be like, they had smooth skin. Oh, perfect. Thank you. It's like he had rough skin. So, like, what does that mean? It's like, it was a white guy, 6'4", 230 pounds, kind of chubby.
What was someone made a video about that, about a woman trying to give a description of a suspect without sounding racist.
Yeah,
They said
yeah.
It was just hilarious.
Mhm.
And that's basically the issue that we're having now is like no one wants to be seen as being racist when describing what a person who's done something wrong or evil has done is not racism. It's you're trying to get this person arrested as soon as possible, get them off the streets.
And again, this shooting, nothing fits the bill of what the media wants to push. I imagine primary handguns were used in this. The media doesn't really care about handguns, despite the fact that most mass shootings are carried out with handguns. There was not so again, it's not an AR-15. They can't demonize that or an AK-47.
I think there might have been one AR
in
used
this
by
shooting?
one of them. Yes, from what I read, but this could have been one of the other ones. That I clicked on.
Yeah,
that was one of the other shootings. But
I imagine it'd be pretty difficult to get an AR in Philadelphia.
You would think.
But anyway, the vast majority of weapons used in this were probably handguns. The race of the suspects were not the race that they want to demonize in the media. And since those things don't fit the profile, there's not going to be a whole bunch of, we need more gun laws, more gun control, because it doesn't fit the bill. It doesn't fit the necessary things that doesn't fit the profile of the things that the media wants to get past. So think about that. That's crazy. I mean, I was shocked. I guess I shouldn't be shocked, but again, this happened yesterday. Mass shooting event. Absent from the news, absent from social media. I mean, try Googling it. Try getting on YouTube and seeing if any of your favorite content creators are talking about it.
There's not enough information to go off of as of right now.
Yeah.
The last thing that I see update on this was from about like 10 to 11 hours ago.
Yeah, not a single video has been made. And again, I tell you guys, whenever something happens, wait a couple of days. Wait a week, and you'll find out. I could very well be wrong about all this. But the way the sheriff was jumping through, like, watch the interview of the sheriff. Watch him do his best not to give any descriptions of the people involved in this. And again, they're not minors. Most of them are not underage. Most of them are, like, there were some teenagers, like 17 age, but most of them were in their 20s. So, it's just kind of crazy to me that this is the level. This is, again, the media is such a dangerous organization. It's not just it's what they choose to report on and what they don't choose to report on. So, our worldviews are formed based on what they choose to report and ill-informed on what they choose not to report. So gun violence is always portrayed as AR-15s, school shootings, and white people being the perpetrators. Despite the fact it seems there's an uptick in transgenders being the primary perpetrators of school shootings and mass shootings. But that doesn't fit the bill. And then what the media chooses not to report on, it's like, well, the vast majority of people are killed in gang shootings. And most of the vast majority of these people killed in gang shootings are not white people. It's black people, people of color, people who lived in impoverished neighborhoods, but they don't report on that because it's not sexy. They can't weaponize it.
No. I think they did like a survey that showed like racism is like one of the top click-onable events in all social media groups.
Yeah.
So if you see anything that's race-based, it'll be clicked on. That's the most likely to be clicked on in any social media algorithm.
Yeah, this is why you have so many left-wing grifters, why they're so popular in social media groups and on YouTube, on any social media, especially TikTok. Grifters are so prevalent in the left because all you have to do is talk about racial injustice or talk about inequity, and boom, you're automatically pushed right to the top because TikTok, all these Chinese algorithms are pushing that. They go, yes, talk about inequity and diversity and inclusion because this is the stuff that will destroy America from within. They want that happening. They want you talking about this pointless crap that doesn't matter. It's so irrelevant to us now. It's nuts. So again, to me, this particular event is the most important thing that I can talk to you about on this show. Because what the media doesn't talk about is just as important as what they choose to talk about.
Mm-hmm. Well, even getting on that, we can go bring this back to like illegal immigration. We're talking about the group of people that wanted people who didn't have vaccines. They wanted them kicked out of the country or losing
not
their
be able
jobs.
to participate in society.
Exactly, and now we have a bunch of illegal immigrants that are vaccine exempt. I mean, they don't have certain vaccines. That's why we're seeing diseases pop up in some of these migration, centers and stuff that we've gotten rid of, hundreds, for years now, and now they're just popping back up.
Yeah.
Because these people aren't vaccinated.
Yeah, tuberculosis is a thing again now because of lack of sanitation in San Francisco and in the lack of sanitation in these migrant camps. And everyone's like, oh, well, that just means we need to put more money into these migrants. No, that means we should pump money into getting rid of these people and putting them back to where they came from. Because if that level of sanitation, like, I don't even know how to go into this. Like, there are some pretty major cultural differences between people. Like, I mean, so when we went to the University of Tulsa, right? You go to you live in the dorms, and I remember talking to some of my buddies who lived in the John, which the John is, the all-male dorm at TU. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to talk about the ethnicity of the people, but there are certain people from certain places in the world where they don't use the restroom like we do. Like, they'd say they'd go into the bathroom, and the door would be wide open to the stall, and you'd see these people hovering and crouching over the...
Well, no, standing on the pot itself and squatting into the toilet.
Yeah, and then they'd have water bottles, and they would squirt the water bottles in their... to wipe. And then they would just leave the water bottles there on the floor.
Covered in crap.
Now, and these are, like, the wealthy ones who can come here from... who are, like, oil sheiks kids and stuff.
I just
pointed the finger, but you can't help it. Like it's like who does this? Yeah, it's very odd. Like when you see these Middle Eastern guys doing this stuff, and you're just like, what are you like? Door wide open, no care for privacy, and you're just like, what the heck is going on in there? And they just leave these water bottles there because they assumed the staff or the kids who are working the front desk are your janitors. They're there to clean up your mess. I mean, could you imagine like crappy water bottles just sitting on the floor in the bathroom? You come in there like the janitor just walks in like, F my life, like it's disgusting. Like there are some hygiene differences between cultures, folks.
Mm.
Now, can it be learned pretty quickly? Yeah. But that's what we're talking about here. Like, some people are like, oh, all cultures are equal. All cultures are the same. All cultures are beautiful and should be respected. It's like, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. So, and seriously, in the comments, tell us the weird things that all the other foreign kids did at your college. Yeah. And if you didn't go to college, congratulations. You didn't get to view the beauty of multiculturalism while you were there. And I'm not saying like you can't. Like, there were great kids. I met great foreign exchange students from China, Japan, all over the place. They're great people. But there are some cultures where they came from where you're just like, what on earth are you doing? It's just big cultural differences that, you know, a lot of people take
for granted.
So, I don't know. But yeah, that's kind of where we'll hop off today, I think. We'll talk about how, again, that mass shooting, not talked about in the news. Can't find it. Seriously, everyone, get out there and Google as much information as you can about it. And don't try hard. Don't get specific. Just be like, mass shooting, Philadelphia. See what pops up. Just see what pops up. See how much the media and the mainstream media are talking about this.
Yep.
And again, going to the all cultures, not all cultures are equal. I think our culture here in the United States is pretty good. Sure, we have some corruption government and corrupt politicians, but for the most part, we value children. We value hygiene. We value cleanliness. It's not all cultures value children the way we value children. They don't value cleanliness the way we value cleanliness. There's nothing wrong with being like, yeah, I think our culture might be superior to a lot of cultures around the world. Nothing wrong with that. So Don't be ashamed. We need to get back to some American chauvinism, some bravado. So don't be afraid to be proud of who you are, where you're from, and be boastful about it.
America first.
America first, baby. But that's about all we've got for you today. I hope everyone has a fantastic day. This is the Twins with the Owasso Live, and this was the Morning Loop. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you too can stay in the loop. It really helps us in the algorithm, and it really helps us with growing the channel. So we appreciate all of you who are listening. God bless you, and have a wonderful day.
See you later, everybody.